So fast. We say it every Sunday, though.
What's up, everybody?
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Happy
If
Father's
you're a
Day.
father or identify as a father, I don't know,
If you're a person
a
father
person
or
father
a dog or a cat
or
father,
an alpaca
an
father,
alpaca
like Andy,
father like Andy.
right?
Um, let's see. We've got Crazy 77, J. Russell Finch, Tower Garage, he did that, I said that already. Danny Boyd, Chris Greenaway, Bill McKiska,
All the usuals, all the regulars,
Does
man.
Nothing Special, Mitten Made Muscle, Uncle Moose. What's up, everybody? Terrence Seymour, Dougster Wolverine Garage, Greasy Garage, Paul Cabazzola. Happy Father's Day, everybody.
I've got my official Cold War Motors cup. Yeah,
You do. You spilled coffee.
I did, right?
It's okay. I spilled coffee too.
Oh,
It was really full.
what was I just? Oh, Mopar guys. How many Mopar guys are in here?
I don't know.
I was just watching. I watched 3 videos from Dead Dodge Garage. Like I've known it. I've seen his stuff come up, and I saw little bits of it here and there. But I actually watched like 3 videos all the way through. Highly recommend. If you're a Mopar guy, absolutely go over there and check out Dead Dodge Garage.
That was a very nice shout out you just did.
That was a nice shout out, right? Well, he does nice work.
Noof Dog says Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Let's see. Mr. Greg says Screw Mopar? What? Mr.
Free
Greg?
Mopar. Where?
No,
Where?
Screw Mopar.
Oh, screw Mopar. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Honestly, I'm at that point now.
Matthew Booth says Evening from Indiana and Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Thank you. Father's Day is really not the same as Mother's Day. Mother's Day is a big deal. You know,
Not really.
yeah, it is. You got
Not
to get the
really.
flowers, and people dress up for Mother's Day, and they do all kinds of special Mother's Day things, and restaurants are packed for Mother's Day. And Father's Day is like, go you. Okay, get back to work.
Because that's how men handle things.
It's the truth. The truth.
Let's see. Hello. Uh, Seriously, I'm Canadian. Let's see. We're strange. Father's Day is in September down under. Tavo's Garage says.
You would think that all nations of the world could agree on a
No.
day that you would have.
Okay, JB RSPS says, rebuilt SBC using your videos. I must have forgot oil pump drive shaft. Ran 7 minutes not realizing I had no oil pressure.
Oh God.
Motor got hot. Shut it down. 15 minutes later, it's locked up. Hope it's not too bad.
Oh yeah, you toasted it. I'm sorry, but yeah, I mean, if it's your first time doing stuff, it's. I guess it would be kind of easy to forget things like oil pump drive shaft. Um, like you couldn't forget it on a Mopar because of the way they're designed. The distributor drive gears, the oil pump drive shaft's built into it, so it's kind of hard to forget there. But like I could see if you're doing a Ford, we get that silly little hexagonal shaft that always falls out. Um, or a Chevy, yeah, if you're not really familiar, I could see you leaving stuff like that out. But unfortunately, my brother, I'm afraid you're going to have to be dropping the pan. Hopefully, it didn't hurt the crank. Your best case scenario is that it grabbed a bearing, right? It grabbed the bearing and it twisted it. And it just started to spin it. If it happened at idle, you're probably going to be okay. I used to come across that a lot back in New York. Cars would hit potholes, rip the oil pan open, and they're sitting at a light, and the engine would seize. You almost always got away with just taking the pan down, dropping the cap. You were dropping all the caps, and you'd find a bearing will just turn. And when it does that, it doesn't really damage the crank. It doesn't really damage the rod, and you're able to just clean it up real quick and put it back together again. Hopefully, that's what happens with you.
Somebody's asking about where's the Economic Ninja video.
I took it down, and not because of anything the Economic Ninja said. He was on point. He was great. So here's what you have to understand about this platform that we use. You have to be careful, especially if you venture out of your normal, out of your normal routine, right? So there are certain words and there are certain phrases and there are certain ideas, okay, that they don't want discussed, and so you get punished. Uh, Not canceled completely, although sometimes I know people who've lost their channels altogether, but they'll put you on a do not share um, list, and to avoid the possibility of that happening, I took the video down. Things that happen in live are a little bit different than when it's in replay. So that's why I took it down. It was had nothing to do with anything the ninja said. Like I said, he was on point. Great guy. We talked for probably a good hour and a half after the live was over, and we definitely plan on. We will do more stuff in the future. But like I said, I myself crossed some lines that I shouldn't have, and so we took the video down.
But nobody said anything to us about it. Like
No, no,
everything
no,
is
no.
fine.
Nobody
Just so
said
you know,
anything.
yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get
We didn't get
threatened.
any
You know,
threats or anything like
Klaus
that.
Schwab didn't like, cancel them. No, no, it's nothing like that.
No,
Okay, nothing like
everything's
that.
fine.
But you don't want to get to that point.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, you know,
Right.
that's why we took it down.
Yeah, we took it down to eliminate the risk.
Right,
Yeah, they
eliminate the
didn't ca-
possibilities.
Nobody said anything about it at all. Okay, let's see.
I will be next time I get together with the ninja, and probably maybe a month or so. Next time I get together with the ninja, I will definitely be more careful.
Hemi Kuda says, I think somebody dumped sugar in my 454 gas tank in my Cutlass. Will it leave sweet tasting gunk at the top of the cylinder ring ridge and leave marks on the cylinder walls like gray RTV silicone?
Uh,
Oh my God, what are you doing?
it depends how much sugar was, and really the configuration of your tank. A lot of times it'll just that was such an old school thing. I haven't seen sugar in a gas tank since well, like the 70s. Um, it depends on the tank. I remember taking tanks down that people sugared the tank, and it would just be clusters of it in the bottom of it. It just depends. Uh, Check, sample the fuel at the end of obviously siphon out as much as you can. Get the tank as empty as you can. But before you do that, just sample the fuel in the line. And if it doesn't, and honestly, and you're gonna be like, tasting gasoline. Yeah, it'll taste sweet. Just go like that, right? If it tastes sweet, you may have a problem. If it doesn't taste sweet, it's probably just settled in the bottom of the tank, and you can flush it out.
Let's see. Been a while. Jason says, if you haven't already, can you give a walk around the test mule car?
Give a walk around to what?
The test mule car.
No, not now. It's
We
covered in
wash it.
mold. It's like literally it's covered in mold, just like this
moldy.
thing is over here, but it's green, so it shows it. It shows it okay. Yeah, both of these cars have been sitting back here for like 3 years
The
now.
power washers at the
That
shop.
one's been sitting
We
back
only
here
have
for
one.
years. You're gonna get overloaded with mule content before too long. So
Somebody had said that they thought that Bottle Rocket was the mule.
no, Bottle Rocket.
Was supposed to be the mule.
No,
in the
Bottle Rocket.
beginning, original.
Bottle Rocket was never supposed to be
I
a
have
mule.
to give them treats. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
Talk.
we need to shut the puppies up. No, Bottle Rocket was never supposed to be a mule. Okay, Bottle Rocket is an ongoing build that we're trying to see how fast can we go with a relatively stock 4-door B body and a 318. So that's an ongoing evolution of that project. There's a difference between an evolution and a mule. So Bottle Rocket is an evolution. Slaghammer is more of a spectacle than anything else. It's a toy. It's just a big toy, right? But again, that's just an evolutionary thing, an ongoing car. The mule, the purpose of the mule. Okay, so the way we're building this car now, all right, is the only parts of it that are permanent are going to be the basic suspension, because there's really not much you can do to the suspension on one of these cars. And we proved that with Bottle Rocket. Bottle Rocket has a dead stock suspension. Just the front segments are clamped, and it's just mildly tweaked. But there's a car that just lifts the wheels, does what it has to do. It had traction problems against Andy, but that was my fault, not the car's fault. So the only parts of the mule that are going to be permanent are the suspension, for consistency's sake, the brakes and the suspension, and the rear axle, the 8 3/4 housing.
Do I need to turn this because you're
No,
pointing
no,
that
that's
way?
okay. No,
Okay.
I'm just, yeah. Let them use their imagination.
Okay, it's dirty. It's a dirty.
Well, go ahead, pan over to it.
Okay, it's a dirty Plymouth.
Right. Okay, so the basic roller is going to stay consistent, but I'm going to configure the car. Like for instance, it's got no inner fenders or anything like that. The transmission tunnel, I'm going to enlarge the transmission tunnel. It'll have all of the permanent electronics mounted inside the car, and then everything outside will be just quick plugs, right? The idea behind the mule is to be able to pull an engine and trans swap just as fast as you could, just as fast as you can pull 2 bolts or pins out of the front mounts and undo the transmission mount is how long it's going to take to do an engine swap on this thing. So everything will be plugged, there won't be any bolt-on wires or anything like that, all in the name of doing quick disconnect stuff so that we can do back-to-back with different concepts. We want to be able to pull a motor, be able to strip it down, put it back together again, and everything within, let's say, an hour or two. So that's how we're building the car.
Did you cut the wheel wells? Paul Capizola's asking.
Yeah, the front. Oh, the back wheel also cut. They're open.
Rob says, love your show. J. Russell Finch is asking about Poppy. Is she still hanging in there?
No, Poppy passed the day before yesterday. We took care of her. For some reason, we didn't do too much videos this week. I slept like 2 hours a night because I stayed up with her, and Kathy stayed with her all day, and I stayed with her all night. And so we waited until it was obvious that she had no quality of, like she was oblivious. And at that point, we took her to the vet and had her put to sleep. Just preemptive so that she didn't go through, because we've had dogs die, of old age, and the same thing. We nurse them along. You have no idea how good that dog was treated the last year and a half or so since we realized she was sick. So we waited to the last minute because we've had dogs die, and the last hour or two can be not pleasant.
Sometimes it's more than an hour or two.
Sometimes more than an hour or two, but that's what we did with Poppy. We just waited until it was obvious, like literally the very last minute, that it was obvious it had to stop then. So, but
thanks, guys. Everybody's saying
yeah,
sorry.
thank you for everybody who offers condolences.
R.A.P. Poppy. We loved her very much. Yeah, always a sad situation. Okay, I don't know what time to talk about it.
All right, so the car.
Yeah.
So I've got wheels already. I got a pair of slicks mounted on one set, identical wheels. I got a set of street tires on the other set, and it'll be a universal car, so that we can plug as quickly as you could do it on a dyno. We could plug any engine and transmission combination into it, any gear ratio, and send it, and it'll be drivable. So we could do some draggy tests with it. So that's one of the big problems with. Okay, so like, Bottle Rocket is semi-drivable. I mean, you don't want to drive it in traffic, right? But you can run it a mile or two, a couple of miles down the road, make a couple of runs with it, and drive it back. Same thing with Slag Hammer. Plan Z, no. Plan Z, I'm limited to just doing stuff in the parking lot and on the street in front of the shop, and I have neighbors, and I don't want to piss them off, or piss them off as little as possible. So that car's got to get hauled off to the track. Anytime I have an idea, I want to try something, or check something, we pack it up on the trailer and send it out to the track, and that's just no way to do something like a Slant 6. So I really think it'll end up. I think the whole thing is better off ended up in there.
Yeah.
But like I says, the car is going to be set up as a rolling dyno, with all of the equipment inside the car, all of the wiring, everything inside, so we can monitor everything, check everything, and then we can do videos. So quantifying performance at different engine temperatures, actually charting ignition lead, how much lead, the point of no return, and so on and so forth. Like, there's so many things we could do if we have a car that's consistent, it's drivable, and it's wired for all of these parameters, and that's what that car is going to be.
It's up 2 hacks. Thank you, John Lee C. Thank you, Danny Boyd. Let's see. Chris Cadman, did someone paint that duster with a roller?
Yes, I drank green paint and pissed all over it. I don't think I did a bad job, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. It looks good. It needs to be washed and
It hasn't been
waxed.
washed in 3 years.
See. Let's see. Raining Slant 6 with a chance of cannonballs. Tony, still looking for a good name for Charger. How about Sucker Punch, or Flip the Switches, Pull the Plug, or a Moonlight Run, or Weisenheimer Brainstorm? Been listening to the cars lately.
Soccer Punch is a great name for a car, but not for a cruiser.
Mm.
That's a name for you build an outlaw car or something. I don't want to write any checks verbally or spiritually or whatever. I don't want to write any checks that the car's not prepared to cash. So I stay away from like names that infer that it's a hot rod, a drag type of car. It's a cruiser. It's built to cruise. I don't know, lots of different names.
It's looking good, right? With the
Oh, it looks great.
primer. Did you
It
guys
looks
see
great.
it in primer? We posted it on Instagram
Yeah,
and in the video today.
Ron was working on it last night. It's got 2 coats of high build primer on it and a guide coat now. And we're supposed to get together on Wednesday and have a block party. Wednesday. I think we'll do that live. We'll just set
Okay.
up the camera.
Okay. What's up, John Oskowski? He says, hey, Tony and crew.
It's happening.
Felony charger or felonious charger? Let's not. Let's not. Zolly's Auto Clinic sent you $2. How
Thank you.
about the name Elvira? I had a cat named Elvira.
We had a cat named Elvira. We'll throw that in the mix.
I still like Shady.
Shady.
Yeah. It's so simple.
Doesn't really roll off the tongue though.
How much does the mule weigh? Indiana Slim is asking.
Why? Obviously, I don't know.
You don't know.
It's not a complete car. It's gutted. It's really gutted.
It was really clean. What did we do?
Yeah, those cars were not heavy to begin with. Like the curb weight on that, not the shipping weight, but the curb weight is probably about 3,200 pounds. So I would imagine with all the stuff that's out of that car and it's not going to go back in, I'm going to say it'll probably hit the scales around between like 25 and 2,700 pounds, depending on which engine is in it.
Okay. Let's see. I finally have Sunday evening off work to get to see your live show. You better make it good, Tony. He didn't say you better make it good, but he said he
I'm on
has
it.
the night off.
I'm on it.
Don't mess up. Okay?
I'm not going to mess up. This is going to be the live show to end all live shows.
It's John Oskowski. That's funny. Let's see. Does nothing special. Says I worked with two guys back in high school that hung sheetrock. They had an '85 F-150, painted Viper blue with white racing stripes. Stripes were done with a roller, and the rest with brushes.
Hey, don't knock it. I have seen some really, really good like Rust-Oleum paint jobs. They do it with the sponges, and it's actually, if you Google Rust-Oleum paint job, some guys have got this down to an absolute science. The right amount of hardener to throw in there.
It fades though. It fades and it doesn't last that long.
I don't know about that.
Like we did the Caravan and it's like
Yeah,
really light yellow now.
all I did was I just brushed that on there. It's like,
I know, but I'm saying like the paint faded a lot.
yeah.
Let's see. Hello, Pirate Greg. Mopopolic says congrats on the 300,000 subs.
Thank you. Excuse me.
You okay?
I burped. But I said, excuse me.
All right.
Yeah.
My fox is a Ruster roller job, Danny Brooks says.
What do you say?
His fox is a Resto roller job. I guess we're still. Craig Greg says, congrats. James E. Halloran, happy Father's Day from Long Island.
Thank you, and same to you and anybody who joined us. Saying Happy Father's
Happy
Day.
Father's Day, everybody. Dougster Wolverine Garage says, I'm really surprised on the luster of the tractor paint when laid properly.
The Tractor Supply paint was really nice, and that was my first choice. I was going to use the Tractor Supply paint when we talked about doing it red. Because I don't want to. I want to go nuts with the car. I want it to be fun. I want it to be drivable. I don't want to freak out when a bird poops on it.
You painted it black.
But it's a flat black, and it's a
not.
cleanable flat black. Like primer, you can't clean.
It
This
has
you
a
can clean.
sheen to it.
What's that?
It's got a sheen.
Very slight, very slight.
Q Mark says, hey Tony, I got a backfire at part throttle to hard throttle transition from a 4150 on a Pontiac 350. The timing is set to 33 degrees at 2300 RPM with the vacuum hook supported. Any thoughts?
What's the first part of it again?
I've got a backfire at part throttle to hard throttle transition from a 4150 on a Pontiac 350. The timing is set to 33 degrees at 2300 RPM.
Well, I mean, see, define backfire. Is it actually popping up through the carburetor, and is it when you're easing into the throttle or when you hit it hard?
I don't know. Let's see what he says. I'm gonna look for the answer.
Yeah.
My mom used brushes to paint my dad's 81 F350 dump truck with Ford red tractor paint. Nice. Dee Speech Ups here says, missed you all on Power Tour this year.
Next year.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Can't wait to see the Charger done. It's going to look good. Yeah, I think it's going to look good.
It looks great the way it is.
I know, right?
I'd roll with it just the way it is. What is that?
I don't know. It's being noisy, though.
A little tiny motor. It's like an 80cc four-stroke.
I hear racers. Scarlet Fire says, school me on the Mopar 812 car code. Oh.
Can you hear that? Can they hear that?
Probably.
The A12 was a 69 and a half, 446 pack Roadrunner in Super B. Yeah.
Q Mark says it pops and there's soot in the air.
Oh.
I'm sorry, there's soot in the air cleaner and carb. It will occasionally do it at low load, but mostly when you whack it. And even then, it only happens 80% of the time.
Yeah, okay. The soot in the air cleaner is not from the carburetor or backfiring from any type of fuel. The soot in the carburetor is a valve sealing issue. Go through your intake valves and make sure that you don't have one of them that's over adjusted. If it's just slightly right there on the edge, you won't see it at idle and you won't see it at low RPM. You will see it in the mid-range, and you'll see it when you push it. When cylinder pressures go high, that's when it'll backfire back up past the intake valve. If it's just barely over adjusted, that's probably what your problem is.
RT Cycle says, Tony, is your Charger an original 440 car?
No, it's original 3D3 car.
Joe K says, no slag hammer decals on Uncle Charger.
No, we don't.
No, we're not going to put decals on
We don't do
it.
that, no.
Someone racing carts and mini bikes down the road?
That was an interesting sound. It was a very small four-stroke motor. I don't know what it was, though.
No. Chris Greenaway says, Tony, what's the Charger's name? Will you reveal it with the paint video?
Yeah, the car is going to name itself. I mean, we have a bunch of good suggestions. They're all rattling around in our heads. We even wrote a couple of them down. The car will name itself.
Stinky right now.
Stinky.
Because it smells inside. Stinky is a
It's
good
a
name
zoo in
for
there.
it.
It's bad. It's really bad. It's going to take me a week to get that place back in kind of order.
Overnight paint drying live video. I don't know.
Let's see how it rolls.
Okay, Old School says, what is the last year of reverse thread on wheel studs? I messed up trying to put the wheels back on an old international truck.
Oh, international, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. 71 for Chrysler products. I have no idea about international.
40 Mamba says, Happy Father's Day, Uncle Tony.
Thank you. Same to you.
Somebody's being terribly hard on a weed eater. Hard to tell through the video, but it sounded like a big single to me.
Oh, tiny, tiny,
Nubs with
little
guns.
itty bitty single.
Pirate Greg says, I, for one, love the paint drying video. Laugh out loud. I still remember that vid. My F100 is night and day difference. My truck literally jumps. Sounds like a Honda. Shauna Johnson. I have a 72 Ranchero GT 351C and had someone messed with my distributor. I found TDC and lined my Dizzy with number 1. It pops through the carb. I've tried moving Dizzy. My fire order is correct. Thanks, Tony.
Oh, you're sure the firing order is correct? Because you've got 2 different firing orders for that motor. There's an early and a late. I don't remember what the cutoff year is. 84? 85? I'm not even sure. But if you've got everything else right and you're moving a distributor and it's not, you've got the either a late engine with the early firing order or the vice versa. Double check the firing order or try the other firing order.
Okay, Q Mark says, okay, sounds good. This engine has about 100 miles on it with new oversized valves on the intake and standard on the exhaust. I'll go through the valves and readjust them.
Yeah, I'll almost guarantee that's what you got.
You should name the Charger Badonk. Gadonk. No.
Badonk.
Badonkadonk.
Or what was Zero's name? Gypsy Kablamo?
Yeah, something like that. Kablamo by itself is nice. Back 40 TV says, got an 89 IROC. Hang on. Hard starts and has black smoke and exhaust and backfires through the intake when you touch the gas. Any suggestions?
Go back and see how I answered that last guy's question. Oh, God. Read it one more time.
Okay, hang on, I gotta find it. Got an 89 IROC, hard starts, and has black smoke and exhaust and backfires through intake when you touch the gas. Any suggestions?
Black smoke is a sign of excessive fuel. It's 89, it's fuel injected. I don't know if you got a throttle body or a tune port. Yeah, I think you got most. I'm gonna lean towards mass air sensor issue. Check the mass airflow sensor.
Okay. Tony, my Yamaha Virago keeps fouling plugs every 2 miles. Why? Mike Brunello.
Which Yamaha Virago? Because the 250 and the 535, 750, and the 1100 all use completely different carburetor setups.
Okay, Connor Wilson says, not going to remove trim on the Charger before paint.
I can't get the clips for the top pieces, and in order to take the sail panel emblems off, I've got to take
The entire interior part.
It's just not going to happen.
And it's like
so we'll
1,000
just tape
pieces.
around it.
Like really, that's why the carpet's not in there, because the whole car needs to come apart.
Yep.
And it's so many pieces on the interior. It's ridiculous. And they're all very heavy. It's hard for me to do. Let's see. Let me see. Sierra says a car will be named Gypsy Kablamo, not the Charger. UTG, is there anything to do with the Montego GT?
Is there anything to do with the Montego? Yes.
It's Chris Greenaway.
Oh, what about it?
He's asking you about the Montego.
The Montego GT.
Yeah.
I know all about it, bro. Every time I hear the word Montego, I think of you. It's jammed in my head now.
Rob Robster says hello from the Netherlands, Europe. Hello. Okay, let's see. Mopar Missile. Hello, Uncle Tony. What ended up being the cost of their remanufactured steering gearbox and charger? I commented on the video about parts not fitting that the steer and gear unit was 420, not 200.
Right. The it wasn't for my charger. That was the kid Josh's 446 pack satellite, and he ended up returning that box. And I had a good box sitting over my storage place, so I just gave him the box.
Charles S. says crunchy the charger. Crunchy.
It's not really crunchy. The car's
It
kind of
used to be
pliable.
crunchy.
It was.
The paint is crunchy.
And people keep commenting on the door hinges.
The door hinges.
They're like, oil the door
Oh,
hinges.
well, we want to hear when people open the door.
Well, no.
Oh.
I'm gonna wait until the body and paint is done,
Uh-huh.
because the car was sitting up there, and Ron had already started cleaning things off and sanding them down and everything else, and I don't want to have oil be dripping and be around it. So after it's all done, we'll oil the hinges.
Okay. Let's see. Barrow's Garage, hello.
What's happening, man?
Let's see. What's up, Lazy Hole Ranch?
Do you still have their soap?
Yeah, I have a lot of their soap. I have a lot of soap. Even though you're using it, I still have a lot.
Lazy A-Hole Ranch, they make soaps, and they sent Kathy a care package.
They sent me a lot of nice smelling soaps, and then I got some of the charcoal soaps for you. You have it at the shop.
I use gas cleaner and gasoline.
No, I saw that
and
soap in the bathroom.
Dawn.
I saw that soap out. I've got a bag of it
Okay.
still. We bought a lot of charcoal soap. It works really well.
When I clean up, I keep a squirt bottle. There's always squirt bottle with gas laying around. So the first thing I do is just squirt my hands down with gas, give them a rub like that, and then hit it with a paper towel, and then I head for the soap.
Nubs with Guns. Tony, do your neighbors know that you're a Yankee? Haha.
Yeah, they probably figured that out.
I don't think they care. Oscar the Charger, Joe K says. Oscar is kind of nice. Oscar? No?
I don't like to name things male things.
Okay. Lazy Hole Ranch says, haha, I need to make more. Make more soap. How's your back doing, Tony? Brett McIntyre
Oh,
says.
much better. Much better. I've got at least 2 or 3 weeks before it goes out again, so we're doing good.
That long, huh?
Probably. The way it's been going, yeah, maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh my goodness, Tony. Dada says, hi. I have spotted a 63 Dodge 330. It's a Colt, according to the owner.
A Colt?
A Colt. Slant 6 push button auto. I know the 225 is super reliable, but do you know if parts are still available? You don't see them much.
Yeah, any of the mechanical parts you need to keep that thing running, alternator, voltage regulators, points, fuel pumps, all of that is way available. And you won't have any problem getting. It's just a regular normal Slant 6 in that. So the owner doesn't call it a Dodge Colt. It's Facebook Marketplace right away. As soon as he said that, I knew it was a Facebook Marketplace listing. I don't know why they do that. I guess maybe they don't have listings for the older cars, the nameplates for the older cars. So if you're gonna like you're gonna list like a Plymouth Belvedere, it comes up as Plymouth Acclaim. I don't know how or why that happens.
That happens a lot. Do you have local cars and coffee every weekend morning out here?
They're doing them at the Speedway. We went to one of them.
Once a month, they do it.
Once a month, like the first Saturday of every month, they do it at the Nashville Super Speedway. So I mean, if nothing is happening. If we don't have anything conflicting on the first Saturday in July, we'll take a ride out there.
Chris Greenaway. UTG, I was asking if there was something I should do with the Montego, restore ratty muscle, or day 2 error correct build.
Oh, dude, I mean, you're asking the wrong person. It just depends what mood you're in. I like the day 2 stuff. I mean, ratty muscle is okay, but where do you draw the line at deterioration is how I always look at it. But day 2 and well-preserved patina, I think, is
I agree with
the
you.
coolest way to go.
Let's
Never fake patina.
see.
Never
No,
ever
that
fake
is bad.
patina. But I have seen guys. I know it sounds crazy, right? But I've seen guys that have made rust holes look good. It's just
Yeah, I don't like it.
how it's detailed around it and how the rust is. You know, they'll coat it. It won't spread. It won't get any worse. But when the rest of the car looks really nice, it's got good original paint. And the paint to survive, let's say, a 7 out of 10, and you've got little spots here and there, a little rust hole like that, or I've seen guys detail cars out. There was a Super Bee, a 70 Super Bee, a Hemi R70 Super Bee, that we saw at a show that was like that, and it had a couple of small rust holes in the bottom of the quarter, but the car was detailed out so nicely, it was okay. Like it fit. It was like the car is wearing its normal damage.
Operation RV says I just published my latest vid yesterday and gave you a huge shout out
Well,
during my test run. I
thank you,
linked your channel in my description. Thank you.
thank you.
It's very nice of them.
What channel is it?
Operation RV. We're
Operation
gonna have
RV.
to look. It should be in mentions, right?
I
It
don't
should
know.
be.
I don't
If
know.
you link the
I never
channel,
really look at that.
did you do like at Uncle Tony's Garage?
Let me see what it says here.
If you do at Uncle Tony's Garage, it mentions us, and then we get a notification that we were
The
mentioned.
channel's name is
RV.
Operation RV.
Yeah, Operation RV.
Come on. Oh, look, there I am.
Where?
Right there, looking at my phone.
Oh.
Now it's me showing you.
I can't see it. You gotta lower your phone. Yeah.
See?
Okay. Yeah. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Okay. Um, Operation RV. It doesn't come up. I put Operation RV and I get. Oh wait.
See it?
Proper
You-
toilet operations? No.
You will like it. I'm building a twin turbo F100.
Sweet. All right, I'll have to look for it. It doesn't come up on a normal YouTube search.
How
I'll
many
check it out.
subs do you have? Sometimes, like, if you don't have a lot, like, you have to do a lot of searching. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Gearhead Ted says, my first muscle car ride was a 69 GTX 440 Magnum 4-speed. I was 7 years old. Holy crap, that was awesome. Very cool.
So mine, okay, I have two childhood memories, right, of muscle car rides. So the first one, I don't even know what kind of car it was, other than it was a Chrysler, and I was probably 2 or 3 years old. And my uncle Johnny had a full size. He was a Chrysler guy. Not that I got the Chrysler thing from him, but all of his cars were Chryslers. And I remember sitting in the back, being in the back seat. And back in those days, there were no child seats or anything like that. And I was just sitting in the back seat, and he was getting on, I believe, like the Bell Parkway, one of the on ramps, and it had a curve to it. And I remember him getting on it as he got into the curve, and I got thrown over to the side, and then he laid into it, and I got thrown back into the seat like on a 45-degree angle. And I remember that. And that's as far as that goes. And then when I was about 9, I had this friend, his name was Charlie Chisecki, and we were in school together. And he had an older brother that had a 70 Roadrunner. I was already a Mopar guy by this point. I was already in
By
just
9?
oh, I was totally infatuated because I lived in car magazines.
Right.
So I was just a Mopar. I loved Mopars. And he had a yellow Roadrunner. I don't know what motor was in it, but it was a 70. It was a 4-speed. I remember the pistol grip, and I remember him banging gears up Margaret Street. And I guess that was my first legit muscle car ride.
He's banging gears up Margaret Street.
Yep.
It's
You remember
such a
Margaret
narrow
Street?
street.
Like we never banged gears up Margaret Street.
Oh yeah, we did.
If there's a piece of pavement on Staten Island, I banged gears up or down it.
Everywhere we went.
Everywhere we went.
That's all you did.
All I did.
It's pretty funny. It's funny because you could do stuff like that when you're young, and people are like, "Oh, they're just idiots.
I was a
They're young
nuisance. I
idiots."
was a nuisance. Honestly, somebody should have shot me.
No,
I mean, I had it coming. I had it coming.
no,
It would have been completely justified.
no,
I'm
Tony.
telling you, somebody should have shot me, but they didn't. I got away with it.
No, Tony, that's terrible. What's up, Franco?
Franco, what's happening,
Says
brother?
good evening. Matt Jones says, Tony, asking for a friend. When putting an automatic into gear from park, the engine dies. It's an early 60s GM 2-barrel carb. Any ideas?
You put in a gear and it dies. Obviously, you've played with the idle speed. I mean, there's a few things, a few different things that'll give you that. Are you are you making your idle adjustments around a vacuum leak? Because that'll kind of do it too. Um, it's the kind of thing you got to play with. There's no one cause. There's no one thing I can pinpoint and say, well, that's going to be it.
Tony, Coldwell Motors is on.
Coldwell Motors. I was just featuring your cup. I drank out of your cup. Kathy always drinks out of your cup.
I do, actually. I use them all the time.
Only now I've got. Oh, look how filthy it is. See, that's how
Oh,
you know
'cause
it's
you
used,
dripped your
right? Because I
coffee.
drip. Yeah, because I'm a pig. You know,
You're not a
I'm a pig.
He says, haha, I definitely punch out my younger self. Would you
Oh,
put
please!
yourself out?
I was a menace to society. It was terrible. It was really terrible.
I used to, like, if you were coming to pick me up, like when we just first started dating,
Right.
if you were coming to pick me up, it was maybe like the first week or two, and you brought the charger,
Yeah.
you could hear it like blocks away.
Yeah.
And as you were coming closer, it started to shake the house. And my parents looked at me like, what is that? He's picking you up in that? I was like, yeah, I'll see you later. I walked out the door.
I mean, I legitimately didn't own a pair of mufflers until I was like
We
22.
had open headers.
Everything, and I remember I lived in New York City, and like literally everything I had open headers. It was just, that's it, you know.
Funny. Cole Moore says, "Hi, awesome. Glad to see how dirty it is." Again, we hit the live with the economic ninja. Yeah.
I took it down.
Yeah, we
I
did.
took it down. I crossed some lines that the platform that we're on might retaliate. so, so I took it down. And
Murder
it
Nova.
was my going over the lines, not the
Yeah.
ninjas.
Murder Nova says open headers forever. My UTG shirt was good for a few horsepower for sure, Cole Motor says.
Excellent,
Awesome.
excellent.
How many horsepower are you getting out of his cup, Tony?
Oh, 37.
37.
37.
Andrew sent you a super chat. UT,
Thank
I'm
you.
rebuilding a 318 for Buddy. Stock rebuild. I'm a Chevy guy. Any distinct differences that I need to know?
If it's a stock rebuild, no. It's just like any other engine. If you've done a small block Chevy, you could do a small block Mopar. If you did a small block Chevy and you do a big block Mopar, you'd be like, oh my God, this is just a big small block Chevy. So you shouldn't have any problems.
Alan TT says, congrats on the 300,000 subs.
Thank you.
Tony, if you could turn back the clock. Hang on, it's jumping. If you could turn back the clock, do you have a car that you regret selling on?
Yeah, I've said it 1,000 times. I had a 72 Roadrunner, 404 speed. It was factory 404 speed, 355 gear. It was completely. It was a bare stripper, and aside from tuning, I tuned the car. So this is back in 1983. We had this car. Cat.
Yeah, I don't think we were married yet.
82, 83, something like that.
Well, I was still at my parents' house when you bought it.
Yeah, and that car,
I
it
remember
was the quickest and fastest stock Mopar I've ever owned. The car ran consistent 1280s. You bring it over to Youngstown on Wednesday night, 1287, 1282, 12, always 1280s, always ran 1280s. And it was a brutally fast car for what it was. 400 thermoquad, stock intake manifold, stock carburetor, stock exhaust. That was for the exhaust manifolds. Stock mufflers. All I did was just tune it as best I could. I fattened up the thermal. It was the first thermal quad I ever actually dug into. And The car just rocked. It rocked.
That was a light to light car. That was constantly on Highland Boulevard.
Constantly. That car was constantly
That's
going
all he
light to
did.
light.
He
Constantly.
had that Ishmael Ouflahiv on the dashboard, remember?
Not really.
That head with the turban on it
Oh, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
on
yeah.
the dashboard. And all we did was drive Highland Boulevard one end to the other. All night. Every night.
Challenging
Back and
anything.
forth. That's all
Anything.
he did. You were a legend, I guess, then.
Yeah, yeah.
Street
The,
racing
sli-
legend.
the slightly off-white ghost is what they used to call me.
Car was gold.
I street
The
race.
the gold ghost.
I was just with that car. Like you got to realize how fast that is for like a regular stock like light to light car, and it's like I felt like what's the word I'm looking for? Not undefeatable.
What?
What's the word you
What are you trying to say?
invincible.
Oh.
I felt invincible with that car.
It ran really good.
It ran great. But yes, I regret getting rid of that car.
Let's see. You sold it to that kid.
I sold it to a kid who took it apart, and it never went back together
I
again.
saw it in his driveway. He had pictures of it in his driveway.
The last I saw it was about 20 years after we sold it. About 20 years after we sold it, about 20 years ago, and it was in pieces on the side of the guy's house.
It's probably still there.
Probably
I
still
don't
there.
know. No, I don't think it's still there because I think I talked to him. I'm sure you get rid of it.
That car was great. That thing was just amazing. I killed a bunny rabbit with it.
I remember that. We were on
I felt
Travis
bad about
Avenue.
that. Yeah,
How do I remember that? That was horrible.
because I heard it get caught up in a drive shaft.
We were on Travis Avenue.
Yeah,
A long time ago.
yeah.
That bunny's been gone a long time.
Long time. I've run over little critters here and there, and of course I don't, you know, but I remember that one specifically because I tried to avoid it, you know, but there's just no avoiding it, and like I guess it hit the K-frame, and when it hit the K-frame, it kind of like it bounced up, and it got caught up in the drive shaft, and I remember hearing it bouncing around in the transmission tunnel for a second.
That was very sad. Tony, keep an eye out. You might see the gold ghost at one of the big auctions. It would break records as owned by Uncle Tommy. Capodanno was better for racing, William Cavanaugh says.
Because always cops on Capodanno. You
Yeah,
couldn't race on
never went over
Capodanno.
there.
Constantly. That's where the cops used to just go and hang out and pretend they were doing stuff. They'd sit on Capodanno. Seaview was a great drag strip. By Seaview Hospital, Seaview Avenue, before they finished it. So it was like you had the main road.
What year are you talking about?
Late 70s.
Okay.
Late
It's a
70s,
long
like
time ago.
early 80s. And Seaview Avenue was phenomenal. Because it was wide, flat, straight, and there was nothing on either end. You had a nice. I don't remember the distance, but you could just run off anything over there. Where else did we used to race? Down in the Highland Boulevard, that was good until the cops started they always have a car parked by the conference house. I don't know.
Did you get wildfires like we do in Canada? Do you get those? We don't get those.
No. Nothing. It's always moist here. Nothing ever really dries out, even when it's dry.
Newton Avenue by Tottenville?
Yeah,
Did we race on Newton?
probably before your time.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't
That
remember
was-
racing any time on
Yeah.
Newton.
Luton Avenue was good, but only on the Highland Boulevard side. When you got it closer to the school.
Let's see. Tony, are you adding the A999 transmission gears to the Slant 6? Can you post a video about adding lower gear set to a 904?
Yeah, when I go through that transmission, I'm going to do that. I try not to do Mopar specific stuff like that, but yeah, we will.
67 Coupe 351C says Long Island is where it's going on today.
There was always stuff happening on Long Island. We used to run out to Deer Park pretty frequently. Long Island always had good shit happening.
Standing Foot says, Tony, it was good to see the interview with the ninja.
It was fun to do. It was fun to do. We got it. We like I said, after it was over, we hung out for another hour or so, yapping back and forth. He and I actually have a lot in common.
Charlie says South Avenue.
Of course,
Of course, South Avenue, Charlie.
Arden Avenue, when they were building.
Is that where the overpass was, where everybody would hang out under the overpass?
No.
Where was that?
The overpass.
There was a big overpass. It was kind of like a dead end, and there was like a big overpass that was kind of like a U-turn. Do you remember where that was? It was like on a
I know what you're
service
talking
road.
about. I know what you're talking about.
We didn't go there often, but we went there a few times.
I know. Drawing a blank.
I think it was by that motorcycle club. Remember? Was it there? Was it in Annandale?
I vaguely remember what you're talking about.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe Charlie knows.
Is that the underpass where there's all that Mopar graffiti?
It might be. It's like service road that kind of comes to a dead end, and the overpass is like the U-turn. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I can't picture exactly where that was.
I don't know where.
I know what you're talking about.
Maybe I'm hallucinating. Let's see. Joe K. Tony, do you still follow Southern Pepper One? I think you had mentioned him in the past.
I did. Occasionally, I catch one of his videos. I go on these binges where I'll watch a particular person for a week or two, and then generally what happens is when it becomes a repeatable thing, you know what I mean. I tend to lose interest, even though like Southern Pepperoni, he's a good guy. I'm not saying anything against him, but he kind of does the same video every time, and then you just fill in the blanks. This changed a little bit, that changed a little bit, and I guess at that point I start to lose interest, and I kind of drift onto others.
Charlie says underpass near Clay Pit Pond.
I can't picture it.
I can't picture it either.
I can't picture it.
Is that a giant green bean behind you?
Yes.
Old School's Garage says evening from Florida.
What's happening, man?
Zero says around the corner from that bar you mentioned, Fat Stupids.
Fat stupids.
I forgot about that. Clay Pit Road, William Kavanaugh says.
I have to open a bar called Fat Stupids.
No, please, no.
It would be busy
Please
content.
don't.
Please.
Oh, too
So
funny.
nothing but light beer and wings. Clean up. Clean up.
What was that? That sounded heavy.
Yeah, it's a big bird up in the tree there.
Okay. Anthony says, I don't know how to say your last name. Mayas just says, thanks for the carburetor videos. Got my dad's 79 Ford van running again.
Good deal.
Operation RV says, first time live with ya and is pretty cool. I'll check back in next time. Happy Father's Day. I got to get back to my kiddos. Happy
Thank
Father's
you.
Day.
Happy Father's Day. Yeah, and we do a live every Thursday night with Kiwi, like a more tech-oriented live.
Let's see. $1 natty ice.
What was that?
Joe K says $1 natty ice.
Right.
J. Russell Finch says the names you make for people and places is hilarious. Any more you remember? Did I take my turn behind the wheel in a race? When? Last night? No. I did drive the truck though in the
She did drive the truck a little bit.
There used to be a bar in Denver called It'll Do, Lazy A-Hole says.
We have a place. I'm not a bar person. I don't drink, right? But sometimes I enjoy the atmosphere a little bit. And there's a place here in Nashville called Santa's. That Google it if you're a fan of
That's the place where they yell at you and it's really
yeah, it's just
creepy
right.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Franco says, Tony, who had the ex-Dick Landy dart? Was it Sal Civello?
Sal, I don't think ever had any. He passed recently, right? He passed. few years ago, 5 years ago. I don't remember him with a Mopar. I remember a Camaro. Um, I may could be wrong.
The vape is saying, Uncle Tony, ever think about doing firearm related content?
I'm not a gun guy.
Yeah, that's not your
I'm not a gun guy. I have a shotgun and a bunch of 22s. I like 22s.
Are you even allowed to talk about that?
I could talk about that.
Okay.
I could talk about
I
that.
don't even know what the rules are as far as that's concerned. Is it going to be a 4th of July spectacular episode? UTG 4th of July spectacular.
Possibly. Let's see what evolves between now and then.
Been trying to get some stuff done on my 64 Falcon gas. They're friggin' hot here in Florida. Well, it's Florida. Yeah.
Work at night, man.
Charles Davidson, Kathy, did Tony do a meet and greet at the track the other night? Laugh out loud.
I don't do meet and greets.
Nobody recognizes him.
Yeah.
At the track. It's kind of nice.
It's one of the nice things about that track. And if they do recognize me, they don't even pay attention.
They ignore him.
No, I do not do meet and greets.
The starting line girl talks to me. The girl that works on the starting line.
Yeah.
We have to bring them shirts next time we go.
Yes.
Okay.
Although the one guy last night, that pissed me off a little bit.
What happened?
The hood pins.
Oh, well, that's your own fault.
Oh, God.
Don't
So-
blame other people.
So we go.
You didn't see it. And I didn't see it because I was looking through the camera and it's very tiny.
So here's what happened. Pulled the car off the trailer, warmed it up, and I checked it with the heat gun. Okay, and the shield worked, right? I actually had like 170 degrees under the carburetor, so that's. I'll cover that in a video. But anyway, it worked. So I had the heat gun with me. So what happened was, I said, let's go up to the starting lines and let's see what the temperature is after it sits for a few minutes in the staging lanes. So I closed the hood and I got in the car with the heat gun, and my intent was, when I got out there, was to open the hood and check the temperature. So I didn't bother putting the pins in. I knew that as soon as I got to the front of the lanes, or as soon as I got stopped in the lanes, I was going to open the hood. Well, as it turns out, as I'm pulling up into the lanes, he's moving the lane out. There was only 3 cars or 4 cars ahead of me. So I was like, ooh, I better get ready. So I dug the seatbelt out and I put that on and I put my helmet on, and I'm thinking, okay, I got to do this and I got to do that, make sure this is on, start the car, keep it warm, don't turn the fuel pump on because you don't want to use too much fuel, wait until the motor. So I'm doing all this, and it never dawned on me, it never occurred to me that, I forgot to put the hood pins in. So, make a long story short, I pull around, I do the burnout, and the dogs are going nuts. I pull around, I do the burnout. No, before I do the burnout, I pull around. The guy brings me into the water. He's standing 3 feet in front of the car, looking directly at me, looking directly at the car. The hood pins are on lanyards, and they're just hanging there. And he didn't notice them. Maybe he's not supposed to notice them. But the point is, like, you're looking at everything, you're observing everything, you're making sure the car isn't leaking and all that stuff. The hood pins are just like that, right? All right, fine. So I do the burnout, I stage the car. I got out about, I don't know, like 30 feet, 40 feet, and the hood goes poof, like that. I'm like, oh, geez, what did I do? So I just drove it like at 30 miles an hour the rest of the way down the track and got it down. So, but yeah, it happens.
Let's see. Joe in Michigan says, just watch the Plan Z video. Very disappointed in you, UTG.
Disappointed? I mean, what did I do?
What the car ran, and your solution is to scrap the whole idea. Stick with it and keep refining it and make passes.
No, you don't understand. I can't. Okay, here's the situation with this car. I know it needs cam. I know it needs cam. And, well, other things too. I know it needs cam. It hits a flat line at about 5,000 RPM. It just will not pass it. Go back and watch the video. So here's the thing: it has very limited bottom end power, as it is. The car makes real nice power between, let's say, 3,500 and like 5,000 RPM, right up to, and you can watch the run. You see what I'm talking about. It leaves soft, and then it goes on, and it pulls nice and strong. I short shift it, obviously, because I'm shifting in response to the way the car is pulling. So I'm shifting at about 5,000, 5,200, like that. And then you watch the whole last, third of the track. It's just, right? It's not going anywhere. So to get the car to launch harder, I need deeper gears. Even if I wasn't going for a launch, I still need more cam. More cam is going to take away from bottom end power. So if I cam the engine to work to breathe on the top end, where I make power between 5 and 6,000 RPM, I'm sacrificing the little tiny bit of power I have on the bottom end. So the very first thing I need to do is add mechanical leverage to the car. I got to do that through gear ratios. Then I can do the cam, or have the car breathe. So basically, I need to help the car along on the bottom end with leverage, gear ratios, and I need to help the car along on the top end through camshaft. So the car has a 7 1/4 rear. The deepest gear I can get for 7 1/4 is a 410. I can't get. I need 4. I need like a 480 series gear. 480, even like a 513. I think it would be perfect for that car. But I'm stuck with a 410. And the transmission has a 220 gear set. I need to put the deeper 270 gear set in. So in order for me to get the gears I need, I got to go to an 8 3/4, which means that I got to do basically the whole back half of the car. As I explained in the video today, the back half of the car is what's left of the original unibody. The outside, the rockers, is is bad. It's bad. It's crunchy. I need to cut the back half of the car, and then I've got to change the rear to get the 8 3/4 to get the gears that I need. I'm not scrapping the project. I'm just thinking about and leaning towards moving the project to a different body. It has nothing to do with forgetting a project. It's just moving from body to body.
That was a good answer.
I hope it was a good answer. I tried to make that clear in the video.
Mm-hmm. Gabriel DeMarco sent you super chat.
Thank you, Gabe.
It says, hi, Tony and Kathy. Hello, Gabe. I keep hearing a chirping sound after driving for a while when I'm off the throttle. If I shut the engine off, I can still hear it purging briefly. It's not a belt. PCV valve? Small block Chevy.
No, no. The only thing that'll give you any noise after you shut it off is going to be in the cooling system. Remember, when you shut the engine off, the temperature goes up. So if you're idling, let's say at 200 degrees, round number, and you shut the car off, it's going to go to 215, 220 before it cools off. So it's possible you're hearing some steam escape past the cap or something like that. Sometimes you get a loose fitting hose that'll let some steam escape. But that's the only thing that give you any noise. Once you've shut it, everything else is inactive. Belts, PCV, anything that's vacuum operated, it's all inactive at that point.
Curmudgeon says, gears in trans and diff, then cam, we will watch.
Yeah, that's the plan. But I've got to take the whole car apart to do that. So I might as well just take all of those parts and transfer them to a more suitable body.
Well, Burns says, he's talking to Zero. Okay. He's asking how Zero is. Joe in Michigan says, thanks, Uncle Tony. Stick with the 410 and try some things. It's already on a 26-inch tire.
I'm telling you, it's the car. No matter what I do, it's a 2060 foot. No matter what, that became like blatantly obvious last night. I was hoping being able to run into the converter would drop me down into like the high 180s, right? But no, same 60 foot. And every time I launched the car last night, I got the same exact results. It needs more gear, but it also needs more cam. So it's like I have to build both ends out, if that makes any sense. No, I don't want that.
Okay. Let's see. Peter Kovac says, what makes a car cool, body style or drivetrain?
Me is drivetrain.
Happy Father's Day, Eric Vitelli says.
Thank you.
How much heavier is the mule than Plan Z?
It's going to be, with the same drivetrain, same engine and trans, it's going to be about 300 pounds heavier. My closest calculations.
Can you explain how YouTube channels are monetized?
Can I explain that?
Not really. You need, how many subs you need?
You need 1,000 subs and you need 4,000 hours of watch time, or 240,000 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you want to get monetized, obviously you got to get your 1,000 subs, and to get your 240,000 minutes of watch time, you got to post a lot of videos. You know,
And
you got to
get
try
people
to
to watch
you
them.
got to try to do something like every day. By the way, YouTube will only share your videos at that stage of the game, right? YouTube will only share your videos and get your videos out if it appears that you're serious, and that's why it's so important. If you're just getting started, and you want to make YouTube your thing, right? It's super important when you first get started. Post every day, post something every day, because that's YouTube knows you're serious. When you post something every day, it knows you're serious, and it pushes your videos out. If you post
Not right away.
not right away.
Yeah.
You have to show that you're doing this for like a
It'll take
while.
months.
Yeah, a couple of months, a month, 2 months, 3 months,
6 months.
posting every single day, and then YouTube will be like, "This is a serious person. Let's give them a shot." This isn't a conscious decision they make. This is the algorithm. This is the AI that runs the program. So if you, let's say you post once a week or thereabouts, forget it. It is it's hopeless. It's hopeless. You will go nowhere. You have to post, and what we find is every 48 hours. You skip past 48 hours, and it really hurts the algorithm.
Some people do okay posting once a week.
That's after they've got 700,000 subs, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or they post very long videos. So if you post, let's say, once a week, and you do like hour-long videos, it's different. You fall into a different category
Yeah,
as
they
far
like
as the algorithm
that.
goes. But if you're like the typical, Joe average YouTuber, like we are, okay, and most of your videos are going to be like 8 minutes to like 12 minutes, 13 minutes, like that.
Most of ours are like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Around
ballpark. Then it's got to be done very consistently when you first get started.
Okay, 510 Kurt Dog says, "What's going on with that green duster slash dart sport behind you? I'm in California sitting in my duster waiting on my wife at the casino." Laugh out loud.
Absolutely nothing. Hey, is she supposed to be in there?
In where?
In your
She's
little area there?
she's in the watermelon burying her bone.
Oh, okay. Um, Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's a completely stock slant six, 3 speed on the floor duster, and it's all original, completely original, and I'm not touching it. It's a great driving car.
Okay, John Patterson says, having a difficult time getting a retrofit roller cam. Kept getting excuses while waiting for 5 months.
Yeah.
Decided to throw in the small block Chevy flat tapic and break it in properly. Thoughts?
It depends on your patience, man. If you are going to use a flat tappet cam, right? Do yourself a favor. I see them on eBay all the time. Get NOS lifters, and it doesn't matter. They don't have to be Chevy lifters. It could be any, any lifter, perfect circle or sealed power, whatever it is, right? It doesn't make any difference. Make sure they're old box stuff that was packaged in the 80s or the 90s, and then it's hard to go wrong. I would not use any contemporary current flat tappet lifters. Just no. Just no.
Moperman 1978 says, Tony, what size fusible link for the alternator wire to be soldered in?
What size? It all goes by the amperage. The one I just put in fusible link wire doesn't come in different thicknesses, or well, they generally come in one thickness, and I forget there's a 14 gauge. I think it's 14 gauge. But the consistency of it is different, so the amperage rating is different. So the one that I just stuck in sledgehammer. That's what I did today. Today I spent the day getting sledgehammer back together again. Is rated at 60 amps. Yes, 60 amps. So it's like a what is that, like 45 amp alternator? I don't know. I put an old school alternator in. but it's enough for a dead short. If there's a dead short, it's gone. So
Tony, with a standard transmission change plan Z times.
yes, yes. There's a video, and we should have posted the video. I should have posted the video along with this, but we showed a video of the car when it had a stick, and it's apples oranges. The car with the stick really came around. Didn't have much top end power. It had about the same top end power that we have now, but it came alive with the stick. And we showed the video of that, and I switched to automatic because, again, see, I want to be able to pass these cars off to other people to take to events and stuff like that. Well, why are you laughing?
I'm just laughing. You keep saying the same thing.
I've been saying the same thing because that's my intent.
Yeah, right, I know.
My intent is.
It doesn't happen.
My intent is, well, okay, perfect example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Bodyman Ron had a death in his family, and it's really thrown him off because he's taking care of his wife. You know, you have your priorities. But the intent this last week is Kathy and I were going to go on Power Tour, and we didn't do that because of the dog. And Ron was supposed to take Slaghammer to the Hot Rod reunion at Bowling Green.
This weekend, yeah.
And that didn't happen either. So, because circumstances, right? Circumstances. But that's how I want these cars to be. That it's like, here, take this car and go to that event. And so that's why I switched Plan Z from the stick, which worked really well, to the automatic. So that I could just put anybody in the car and say, here, just go make laps. So that's why I went to the automatic.
Cisco Arrow says, built on Ford's 351 Cleveland's.
What can you say? I mean, we talk about the 351 Cleveland often for some reason on Thursday nights. Our Thursday Night Live that we do with Kiwi. It's a great motor. It's a great motor. Inch for inch, pound for pound. It's one of the best engines ever produced by Detroit.
14 cars in the UTG fleet? Do we have 14? I don't think so. We got
How
rid
many
of
do
some.
we have?
We got rid of the gold car.
We got rid of the GT. I got rid of the gold car. I got rid of like 3 bikes, 3 motorcycles. How many cars we got in the fleet?
I don't know. We're paring down.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 here at the house, and then 2 motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 9 vehicles here at the house. Then at the shop, there's outside. There's what's outside?
You got the 2 trucks.
Get the 2 trucks. That's 11. Then inside is Mrs. Landy, Slaghammer, Bottle Rocket, the Charger.
That's it.
Plan Z.
Oh, that's 15.
I got the Yamaha I gave John.
Mm-hmm. That's not ours, so that's John's. That doesn't count.
It's under my care.
15. It's 15 plus John's Yamaha. Okay, we need to get rid of more.
I know I'm
cars.
forgetting. I know I'm leaving
Many.
something out.
We can't. We don't get to use them.
I know.
We gotta take that road runner out of the garage.
I know.
Every year he says the same thing.
I know. I know I'm leaving a car or 2 out, but I don't know which ones they are.
I at least would like to wash it.
Okay.
He says.
Next.
Next. Let's see. You're talking to each other. You're all saying Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Don't forget the 55 Chevy to come. You forgot the
Oh yeah,
55
right.
Chevy. Let's see. What? You still counting?
The Charger. I didn't say the Charger.
Do you own a Nova? No.
No.
Dougster says I was close. He said 14. What is going on in the trees over there? It sounds like there's a...
And the one that I use it's gonna be crazy, right? People are gonna think I'm out of my mind, right? my vehicle of choice. So I use the red XJ as my daily driver, right? But that's not really a vehicle of choice. That's like the vehicle of necessity. It's the one it's the utility vehicle
Mm-hmm.
currently. But out of everything we own, the one that I seek out to use the most, which one is it, Kat?
The one you seek out to use the
Right.
most?
The one that when I want to enjoy myself.
Okay. The Super Cub.
The Super Cub.
Yeah.
Out of all of the vehicles we own,
Likes
all of the
to ride
things we
the
own,
Super Cub.
my Harley sits there with like cobwebs on it, right? Well, not really, but the Super Cub. The Super Cub is my vehicle of choice. I come home, stressful day, doing this, doing that. Got to shoot a video. Got to do titles, descriptions, thumbnails, blah 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 blah. Got to run around, do this, do that, and the other thing. Oh God, I need to unwind. I need to get this. I need to just relax. Cat, I'm gonna go Super Cub for a while, and I get on the Super Cub, and I slowly ride off at 30 miles an hour into the into the distance.
Polar Motors is asking. He says, haha, what's the slowest quarter mile time you've ever seen where the car didn't break? I ran a solid 34.5 last week, he
I
says.
quarter mile or eighth because I
He
think that
says quarter.
okay, I think Kathy's got you beat.
Yeah, I do.
What was that now with Mrs. Landy?
It was like,
Eighth mile. It was like a
it's like,
24-second.
no, it wasn't that bad. It was like 20 seconds, 19 to 20.
Oh no, it was in the 20s.
Don't make it like that.
It was in the 20s.
Okay, so it was 20, but like I thought I broke out and I ran 19.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I lost. I was so close.
I know. So yeah, Mrs. Landy I think has the 20-second eighth mile times.
Yeah. It's fun. Okay, Alan sent you super chat.
Thank you.
I can remember replacing a glass fuse with part of a hacksaw blade
Oh sure.
to get me home. That get me home fix was in place for 6 months.
The the cigarette paper. But see, things have changed, right? How many people have been smoking anymore? We used to use cigarette paper because it was aluminum. It was paper on one side and aluminum foil on the other side. And so you'd pop a fuse and you take the cigarette paper and you wrap it around the fuse and stick it back in the holder and you're back on the road. And then 22 bullets work the same as like most glass fuses. Same diameter as most glass fuses.
Chris Cameron says, I can dig the Super Cub. I ride a Grom.
Yeah. Exactly. And you know what I love the most about? So I'll go out like okay, like this is a pretty good example. Like possibly, probably after we're done with this live, I'm gonna jump on the Super Cup.
You are.
And well, yeah, it's cause that's the kind of thing that I do, right? And I'll go cruise around, and I love pulling up next to like the big Harley guys, and
With the bags.
yeah, they got the bags, and they got the big thing on the front, right, and all of that shit, and they got the tattoos, and they're like, oh, and I like pull up on my Super Cup, and I go like this.
And you wave at them.
Yeah, the wave motorcycle guys give each other like this. When I'm on the Super Cup, I go like this.
What do they do?
They'll usually give you the wave back.
They do?
Yeah, they give you the wave, and you give them the wave.
It's funny,
I
Tony.
love that.
Hilarious.
Live to ride, ride to live, skulls. Look at me, Super Cub.
Oh, it's funny. The Bud Light wave, Tony. Just give the Bud Light wave.
I give the Bud Light wave, yes.
Oh, hilarious. What's your slowest quarter? Mine was in 26 something. 79 Starfire, Carmudgeon says. Your slowest quarter. Not my slowest quarter, your slowest quarter.
I don't know. I've coasted down
doesn't count.
many. I mean, I don't know. I never really thought about it.
No.
My craziest quarter was 11:08 at 42 miles an hour. Try that one.
Interesting. Tony needs to wear his 80s leather jacket. That thing is cool.
Who said that, and how did I know I've got my jacket?
I don't know. What do you mean?
My black leather jacket.
What about it?
How would they even know about that?
You've worn it in videos.
Have I?
Yeah. The one you got Bottle Rocket, that day you wore it.
Oh yeah,
You've
that's right.
worn it. That jacket is like shot. You thought you lost it. You
Just somebody
thought
stole it.
somebody stole it. No, they stole other things. Let's see. It looks like you put the motorcycle back together. Question mark? Which motorcycle?
Which motorcycle? Oh, I still have the blast. It's still apart. I've got it. It's still apart. But all of the other ones. See, the more we sit here and think about it, the more other vehicles are going to pop up.
Monster Mash jacket, Ari says. Rusty Williams says, I saw in your new video you had an engine where the nitrous fuel was taken straight off the fuel line to the carb. Is that normally doable?
For a small shot, yeah. Yeah, you have to have a good fuel delivery system for it, but yeah. Up to about 150, 180 horse shot, you're fine.
Oops.
Now, the thing you got to remember about nitrous, the gasoline part of the nitrous system, is that it's being sucked through the lines. Like if you didn't have a solenoid there to stop the fuel, engine vacuum would just pull the fuel through the lines. So when you hit the solenoid, you're actually helping to pull fuel from the tank forward.
Joe K says, is it up to YouTube on when the ads appear in a video? For example, right as Steve Maggs pops the hood, there's a commercial.
Uh, we can tailor when the ads go, but we generally don't because they have it figured out better than we
Sometimes
can.
if we're rushing, because I do that part. If I'm gonna, holy shit,
Well,
fireworks behind you.
okay.
What was I gonna say? If I'm in a rush, I'll see where the ads are and I'll make sure that it's okay, and I'll be like, okay, they put them in there. But sometimes I have to do it depending. Let's see. Brett McIntyre, do you like? Hang on, it's jumping. I'm trying to click on it. Okay. Do you like dump tubes to bypass mufflers? Does it make much more power for the extra noise?
Dump tubes?
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, that's just a noisemaker. That does nothing. It's just a noisemaker. Don't waste your time with that, unless you're looking strictly for noise.
Okay, Jim Betts is asking, how much backlash have you received over the Black Ghost scam poster?
Backlash? Not very much. The vast 90% of the comments were like, "Wow, I never thought of it that way before, but you're right." And I noticed that, like Haggerty's website, a lot of different websites that features on the cars, they got the luge of people who saw our video. 10% of the people were like, "Oh, you're just hating," or "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about," or "Oh, you're just jealous," or whatever it happens to be. But no, in general, no, really no backlash at all. No substantial backlash.
The dogs didn't even say anything because of fireworks. Lily is in
Oh,
there.
Lily, I'm sure is hiding now.
She's gotta be like
Cowering someplace.
besides herself.
When it'll rain, right? So this dog, she's fearless. There's something in the backyard, or she's barking. She gets all ferocious and stuff like that. If it rains and there's like even a little bit of thunder, like one thunderclap, and she's hiding for an hour. She'll
Yeah.
place.
She hates the fireworks. We had to wrap her in a blanket last year.
I remember that.
You can hold her.
Yeah, what are you doing on the 4th of July? Comforting
Holding
a
the
cowering dog. Maggie doesn't care.
Who shot those fireworks off?
I don't know.
Are they watching our live? Did they do that for our live?
They might be.
There is a guy over there that watches the channel,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Let's see. The fireworks are a nice touch. Steve Arena says, wiring up a bump start switch under the hood, is it just wire to start um, and positive, or can I go to the firewall on my Dodge?
Uh, read that one more time.
Okay, so it looks like there's a typo in here, which is making
Okay.
it hard, but wiring up a bump start switch under the hood, is it just wire to start? It says ND, so I'm thinking it says end positive, or can I go to the firewall on my Dodge?
Sure. On your starter relay, there's that one wire in the center that bolts to the relay. So you got the big wire that bolts to the top, right? The one comes from the battery and it goes to the fusible links. Then you have the small one in the center that bolts on there, and then underneath you have the two that plug in, right? Well, that one in the center is the starter relay for the solenoid on the starter. So you could just go from battery voltage to a momentary contact switch to that, and you're fine.
Tom Fuller is asking, are we doing any tech tonight? Tech discussion.
I try not to on Sundays. I
But
try
you
not
do.
to. But I mean, throw the question
Yeah.
out.
What is it? Made Muscle says, Tony, do you think we will ever see aftermarket rods and cranks made in America for a decent price again, or is that over in your opinion?
Um, I don't know. I don't know. We we are going to have a manufacturing renaissance in this country, but it's not going to happen for years yet. Um, the way I'm seeing it is we're at the beginning stages of a collapse. We're going to go into full blown free fall collapse over the next 12 months, like that, next year or so.
Are
Uh,
you making predictions?
yeah, I mean, I can make a pretty safe prediction on this
Eh,
because it's already happening. It's in the process of happening. It's not like, oh, this is going to happen. But like little by little, the general public is waking up to the situation that's going on. They realize, hey, I'm more in debt than I was before. My house is worth less than it was before. My credit, it sucks now. I can't afford this. My car payment is now all of a sudden $1,000 a month, and I can't get insurance. And like all these little things start to creep into the average person's thing. Oh, I'm going to go to the bank because I got to pay my pool guy. The guy's going to store my pool $5,000. Oh, I can't get $5,000 out of the bank. They want me to fill out papers why I'm taking this money out of the bank. So the average person is starting to catch on now that things are not right. And the more the average person catches on, the more fear sets in, the more pullback there is. They see what's going on with commercial real
this
estate.
isn't economic advice
This is not economic advice.
or financial advice.
I know there's a long-winded answer to the question that the guy asked me about high-quality connecting rods and crankshafts and stuff like that. So we're in the middle of collapse, the beginning stages of collapse. It's going to go all the way. Sit up. She's telling me sit up. She's my producer. Okay. We're in the beginning stages of collapse. At some point, you'll have basic panic. And then you've got all the things going on with the BRICS nations. The dollar reserve status is as good as lost. We're in for a really, really tough time with anything that's imported. So we're going to, by necessity, we're going to have a reemergence or a refocus on manufacturing in this country. But that is going to take years. So for the foreseeable future, no, I do not see a return to high quality cranks and rods and hot rod parts made in this country. I just don't see it. Long term, 10 years out, let's say, I think that eventually we will get back to where we build the finest stuff on earth. But we have a long way to go before we're there.
Ari's saying as long as you don't get all L. Ron Hubbard again. When did you get L. Ron
When
Hubbard?
did I get L. Ron Hubbard?
Ew. No, Ari.
I've read all of L. Ron
Ew.
Hubbard's. I'm familiar.
Let's see.
But no, I never got L. Ron Hubbard on anybody.
Just caught a meteorite over Tony's head. Did anyone else see that? I did not. Maybe it was a lightning bug. Um, Tell us some C-body cars that were great bracket racers. Brent Nixon says.
I can't.
Great C-body bracket racers.
Honestly, I never paid attention to bracket racing. I went right from street racing to nitro, and I skipped that whole middle ground, which is kind of like what I'm at now, right? I'm in a lot of respects I'm like a 25-year-old, uh, in that like the cars that I'm playing with now and the things that I'm dealing with now is something I completely missed when I was younger. Like I said, I went from street racing to nitro, and I missed that whole big middle ground, which is where I am now. I'm in that middle ground.
Ari says, ha ha ha, trolling as usual. Doug Dutra, etc. Ari, he's
Uh,
trolling you.
Thank you.
Your mods are trolling you.
That's what they're here for.
Okay.
When the regular trolls can't make it, I depend on my mods to come in and do the trolling for them.
You need to do a Grapes of Wrath build, French Onion says. I don't know. Grapes of Wrath. Franco says, Tony, did you ever see the connecting rods that Dave Benjamin was building?
Yep.
They were beautiful.
Yep. I had a set. We had a set.
What'd you do with them?
We blew them up.
Oh, you blew them up?
Yes.
Let's see. Olivia Roy says, I think I should go back to machining.
Yeah. Any of those trades are going to be in big demand in the coming years. But we got a long ways to go before we get there. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen between now and then.
JK says, Tony, you got me reading about 1972 Dodge Coronets. Did you know they could be ordered with a 404 barrel,
Sure.
4-speed manual with Hurst shifter and
Yep.
355 short grip?
Yep. 391s. You can get 391s in those.
Let's see. Oops. Wow, this is really moving fast. Okay, Tomfoolery says, LA 318. Why would a crankshaft have 1/8 inch plus end play? Wiped out the thrust bearing in about 30 miles. What should I be looking for?
Well, is it a stick or is it automatic for openers? That's unusual. Okay, so uh, exceptionally heavy clutch um, in a stop and go traffic type of car is hell on a thrust bar. I remember back in the day, it was typical, especially in New York City. Um, Roadrunners, stuff that had 340 cars, 4-speed cars that were stuck in traffic a lot with heavy duty clutches. They were notorious for eating throw-up bearings. Thrust washers, rather. Say throw-up bearings? Yeah, throw-up bearings too. There's not much other than that really puts a big load on a thrust bearing. So I don't know. I don't know.
Bulldog Garage Merch sent you a super chat.
Thank you.
Thermoquad Carb Ideals. Great tell you. Try to drive it. No power popping out of carb. Too rich. Too rich?
No, too lean.
New carb. $5 is for your new pool, Tony.
Thank you. Popping through the carb is too lean, not too rich.
I don't know why I had a hard time reading that. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So, you answered?
Read it one more time.
Okay. Thermoquad Carb Ideals great. Tell you try to drive. Okay. Drive.
Idle's great.
Oh, idles. Okay, it says ideals. Okay. No power popping out of carb. Too rich. New carb.
Yeah, popping out of the carb is the exact opposite of too rich. If it's too rich, it'll never pop out of the carb. That's a sign of a lean condition. But it could also be a sign of retarded timing, ignition timing. Try bumping the timing up like 4 or 5 degrees, and see if that helps your problem at all.
Okay. All right. had a worn out automatic that would try to shove the torque converter off the input shaft if it shifted into third at 30 miles per hour. Chewed the thrust in the crank up.
Read that one more time.
Hang on. I had a worn out automatic that would try to shove the torque converter off the input shaft if it shifted into third at 30 miles per hour. Chewed the thrust in the crank up.
Interesting. Interesting. I have to really dwell on that to think about what those relationships would be inside the transmission that would allow the converter to go that far forward. But you do have a like I'm thinking of the location of the oiling holes to the lip seals, to the sections that they slip through on the transmission, and you actually do have quite a bit of leeway there. I don't know. I got to think about that.
Okay. Tony, I really liked your video on global economics. I'd like to hear more of it.
A little bit at a time. I don't want to overload the channel with that stuff. And that said, there's a possibility in the not too distant future I may do something completely different on a different platform concerning that stuff. But I'm going to keep it pretty limited and pretty focused on the car world when it comes to this channel.
What is yours saying? It's a part of New York called Tennessee. What? UTE, Uncle Tony's Economics. Peter says, thanks for exposing some of the classic car resto scams.
We try. Like there's nobody else doing it. So somebody's got to do it. I hate seeing people taken advantage of.
Greetings from Torrance, California. What did I miss? Any electrical fires today?
Not yet.
Oh, he says, okay, I watched a video that I thought he said he was in New York. No, he's from New York.
I'm from New York, but I've been here in Tennessee for 20 years.
Let's see.
The best 20 years of my life, I might add.
You didn't have fun in New York?
This place is just great.
You had fun in New York.
This place, yes, there was fun in New York, but I never, when I lived there, I was born and raised there, right? Spent the first 40 years of my life there. I never ever once said to myself, man, I'm just so lucky I live in New York. That's a thought that never even occurred to me. Maybe you did.
Yeah.
In Tennessee, on the other hand, every day I'm reminded of how grateful I am to be here.
There are things I loved about New York.
They're gone. They don't exist anymore.
I know that. Very sad about that. But I know. It's totally different.
How do you think people from San Francisco feel?
I can only imagine. I don't know. Let's see. Jim Bet says AMC engines were not bad, but good luck finding parts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing with a lot of orphan brands, and when I say orphan, they were never really popular in the day, and there aren't very many of them around today. Yeah, parts can be a real problem.
William Kavanaugh says, I left Staten Island 2 years ago and I'm in South Carolina. Best move I ever made.
Yeah.
A lot of people from Staten Island moved down south.
You don't realize how bad it is. William, correct me if I'm wrong about this, right?
What?
Not you, Kat.
Oh.
William, correct me if I'm wrong. You don't realize how bad it is until you get away from there. Because I always knew it was bad. I always knew it was like, okay, this place is just evil. Okay, there's evil here, right? But I didn't realize how bad it was until I lived here in Tennessee for about 6 months or so. And then I went back to get something, do something, whatever it happened to be. And I was like, get me the hell out of here. Did you have kind of a similar situation?
He's only been gone 2 years, so probably not.
I don't know. Let's see what he says.
The longer you're away.
The longer you're away, the more you...
But it's also changing up there, too, and it's getting worse in some ways.
In some ways?
In some ways. Not always.
They're trying to put immigrants in people's houses.
Yeah, I saw that recently. Staten Island's not gonna put up with that. You know that. The last time I was there, it kind of looked like Queens to me. Less like Staten Island and more like Queens.
You say that they're not going to put up anything, but it costs you $20 to go over the bridge to Brooklyn. That's like saying every time you want to go to Smyrna, it's going to cost you $20.
Well, they're gonna have to like do something about it. I mean, I don't know. Eventually, eh?
They were supposed to do something about it when the toll was 50 cents, and then it was
Yeah,
a
I know.
dollar, and then it was $3, and then it was $5, and it was $11. Now it's $22, I think it is, and people pay it. You think about it. That's not to go to a different state. That's not to go to a different city. That's traveling within the city that you live in. It's utter insanity. The people on Staten Island are sheep.
Charlie Roma says, I left Staten Island 20 years ago for upstate New York. My next move possibly to Nashville, Tennessee in a few years.
Come on down, brother. You'll love it here.
A lot of people are moving here.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
We're gonna do when we get when the charge is in paint and I've got the alignment done. We're gonna give you guys. We're gonna do a video tour of Nashville
No, we
with
don't
the
want
charger.
anybody else to move here.
Our people are okay.
Okay.
If you're watching this channel, you're okay. I'm not worried about you coming here. You'll fit right in. You'll be fine. But yeah, that's what I've got. That's what I've got in mind for when we get the charger together. I want to do a video tour of Nashville from.
Maggie.
What? Where is she?
She's barking over there. Go ahead.
Oh,
Talk
probably a
about your
bunny
video
rabbit.
tour. Come on.
I don't want to talk about the video anymore. I need you to answer. I need you to do
Oh
that.
my goodness! I walked away for 2
I've already lost my place.
Maggie, come on, Cookie, come on. Oh no, is that rain?
Yeah,
Oh shoot.
that's right. We're under the umbrella.
Come on, Cookie, let's go.
I got to scoot in a little bit. It's just starting to rain here. Cat, I need you. You forget you're an integral part of this.
You don't need me. Let's see. Large print for Tony. Yeah. What's up, Billy Bob? Welcome. Let's see. Soggy Steaks. Are you trying to get under the umbrella?
I'm under, right? I mean, I'm not getting rained on. Yet.
I just care about my iPad.
It'll be fine.
I don't care if you get wet. Let's see. Giuliani ruined New York City, Franco says.
Yes
You
and
weren't
no.
happy about it at the time.
Yes and no. Yes and no. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it, Franco. In some ways, I do
No,
agree with
in
you.
retrospect, you're saying.
No, in retrospect.
Yes, during.
Yes, during. During
Yeah.
it was bad.
Oh, yeah,
During
we
it was
were,
bad.
We were mad all the time.
Right. In retrospect, maybe not so much.
Let's see. Is that why the dogs are barking? Oh, the rain? Maybe.
No.
No.
We have rabbits,
Rabbits
everywhere.
And
We're
we
in the
have
city, but this is
beagles,
like the
so
wildlife here is off the chain.
every house has rabbits on its lawn.
Yeah.
South is great, wide open roads. Can be.
We have some great riding. Like if you just want to leisurely ride on your motorcycle, man, this place is heaven.
What's the update on the conversation with Economic Ninja? Did I miss it?
No. We already talked about this a few times during the course of this live. I took it down myself, not because of anything the Ninja did or said, but because of things that I did or said that could be misconstrued by the platform that we're on as not good.
Michael Asher says, one of these days I plan on coming down and see your garage in Kiwi's place too.
Okay.
Good night, John Skyver. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
It's really raining out.
I know it's. We'll go a few more minutes.
Okay. I mean, oh yeah, we're almost there. It's 9 o'clock.
You kidding me?
No. No.
Flew. It flew.
No. All right. I found out that my alternator was out when I could not time my car, and the battery died.
Okay.
Super Cub of Fury.
I love
Where
this.
is Kiwi? He hasn't been here.
What do you mean? Oh, on the live?
On a live, yeah.
Oh, his wife probably has him doing the carpets or something. Maury runs the program there.
Jim Betts says, Kathy, can you find my question for Tony? AC delete pulley. Oh, all right. I'm going to look, Jim. I'm scrolling up. How long ago did you write it? Scrolling. That's why the dogs are barking. I see that you wrote. Okay. Scrolling. Still looking. Okay. Jim Betts. Any idea where I can find an AC delete pulley for the newer style serpentine belt setup for the 5.9 Magnum engines?
Oh God. Where would you find that? I don't know. I don't know. You did a Google search? I mean, somebody's got to make that. But offhand, I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Leah says, shout out to my niece, Analea.
What's happening, Analea?
Andrew says, how do you pick a camshaft? What's your process?
The Ouija board.
It's not.
I consult the forces of darkness, and they
No, you
generally,
don't.
they're generally good.
No,
They're generally
not.
good. They
They're not
missed
good
with
at all.
Plansy.
That's why they're forces of darkness.
Well, maybe that's why Plansy's give me the trouble it is.
Oh my
'cause
God.
I use the Ouija board.
Would you tell them how to pick a camshaft?
Oh God.
Did you do a video about that?
And many videos about that. Many videos about that. But the thing is, you have to have a basic. Okay, so if you're familiar with the type of engine that you're working on, so let's just say it's a small block Mopar, right? Or a small block Ford. It doesn't make any difference. Big block Ford. It doesn't make any difference. If it's an engine that has known characteristics, then it's fairly easy to spec a cam for it. But when you've got an engine that's a little unorthodox, that doesn't fit the normal mold, like something with the Slant 6, you're guessing, and it makes it difficult, because you can only assume. Again, you're not familiar. There's no textbook to go by, so you're not really familiar with what the engine's characteristics are and what the various causes and effects are. So it becomes difficult at that point.
What was that look? Are you listening to what's in the distance?
Yeah. That sounds terrible.
Let's see. Black greasy magic.
That
Does
sounds
it
really
sound
bad.
good?
Yeah,
No?
it's one of those Mustangs.
Is it a Mustang? Sorry, Mustang people.
The most horrible sounding friggin'.
How's it go, Tony? No, that's not the right sound that you make.
I can't even.
You do like the Chewbacca sound.
Yeah. They sound like Chewbacca. Oh, please. All right. Next. Go on. I don't want to insult everybody. And now it's really starting to come down. All right, we're going to have to wrap it up soon, guys.
Chris Cadman says, ouch. See, now you insulted
I'm
all
sorry,
the
bro.
Mustang
I'm
people.
sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe they sound good inside the car. But every friggin' one of them here has got muffler deletes. They shift in normal traffic. They shift at 9,500 RPM. It's horrible. It's just horrible.
Okay. It's really raining. Parker Russell, is there a way for a more average guy to get a flat plane crank like the newer vets have?
I have no idea, bro. I have no idea. Call around a couple of different crankshaft manufacturers.
Is that lightning?
No, but my back is getting really wet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we done?
We're done.
Okay,
We're
guys.
guys.
It's raining.
Yeah, my back is getting wet.
Sorry.
Armand, Harry, Fubar Zero, guys, thank you very much. Everybody contributed to Super Chat. Thank you. Always appreciated. Never expected, but always appreciated. Everybody contributed just your presence and your conversation. Thank you so much. And
Is it cold?
we'll see. Oh, yeah, my back is getting wet. So we'll see you guys Thursday night, 7 o'clock with Kiwi. And then have a good week. Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Happy Father's Day. Good night, everybody.